My name is Georgios, and in this video I will share with you my experience in Barcelona taking regular classes in Bachata. As a background, I do know how to dance a little bit Bachata, but my Spanish is terrible. I haven't got some notes for you, and by the way, if you think that the sound is a little bit off, no, it isn't. I am sick. That's why I sound particularly so sexy at this moment, or the mic is just configured in a very wrong way. But who knows? So I went to Spain for 2 months, and the primary idea was to go to a lot of regular classes and take some private classes. So one of the biggest dance school that almost everybody knows, and a lot of international people also go there, is the PS Dance Center. So this school is founded by Jorge, Judith, and Gloria, or at least it belongs to these three. And Jorge and Judith is very famous for being one of the creators of the bachata sensual. So I went to this school for 1.5 months, and I went on 2 different days. I went on Tuesdays and also on Thursdays. In general, there are also other teachers teaching there. For example, Alonso and Noelia, or Carolina Rosa. And I'm talking only about bachata because there are also other dancers and teachers that teach salsa and urban, or at least this is how they call reggaeton and hip hop. But I only went to Alonso and Noelia and Jorge and Judith, plus Rebecca. I'll come to Rebecca later. And I chose these two, and I mean these two couples, 2.5 couples, because well, on Tuesdays it was harmonizing with my schedule, so I went to Alonso and Noelia. I had no idea about them. I actually was looking at them I found them via this school, and I found them actually in Instagram. That's a funny thing. So actually, you should be careful if you want to go to the school, how you contact them and from where. Because I tried to contact them around 1.5 months before going to the school via their website. I registered via the website, but I didn't get any response. So then I went to Instagram, contacted them via Instagram. Then I found a WhatsApp number, contacted them via WhatsApp. Guess what? They were in freaking holiday. So actually, I found Alonso and Noelia, and then I contacted them directly, and they were quite kind enough to let me know that the school was in holiday and actually when the classes would start. So I'm thankful for this. Also, for the whole organization of the school, like how you register, only one person is responsible for the whole thing, which is, and the name of this person is Thais. She's getting constantly bombarded from everyone, like international people, local people. And if you want to contact the school, do it via WhatsApp. You'll probably find the number either, I don't know, in Instagram or on their website, and be careful. Only text them once, because Thais is chronologically answering back the questions, which means that she goes from oldest to newest. So if you text again, of course, you will lose on the order. So don't do it. Text only once. Don't ask how I know. All right, so I went on Tuesday on the beginner, intermediate, and advanced course of Alonso and Noelia. The beginner was only from Alonso, and at the same time, Noelia was giving a, how is it called? A lady styling. Oh my God, a lady styling class. And the good thing was, it wasn't I mean, if you were a total beginner, maybe you would have some trouble. Also, the good thing about the school is that most of their students have a really high level of bachata. So, so you will be kind of pushed and motivated. So at the beginners course, we were doing again the basic steps, for example, the lateral, the diagonal, the Madrid step, the box step, break forward, back, and we were then playing with music, we were playing with the levels. Then we were doing simple leading movements, how we should lead, where we should have the contact with the follower. So stuff like that that usually you don't learn if you go to normal classes, from my experience. So I would highly recommend this. Then the intermediate was with Noelia, and then we were primarily focused on combinations. And there were also combinations that I'm not really used to, which was for me perfect. I should say that the sensual bachata is not really my style. These breathing slow movements, it's just not. But I really respect what they're doing, and at this school the teachers are amazing, so you can always learn something, pick something and apply this to your style. But for me, to be clear also about my style and to which direction I wanted to go, going to this school helped me a lot. I would go back again, most definitely, but to me now it's more clear in what direction I want to go. Anyway, so going back to the intermediate. So intermediate was really great, and then the cherry on the top was the advanced. Now the problem was that 95% of the classes were given in Spanish, and my Spanish is like terrible. I know left, right, hip, stuff like that, like izquierda, derecha, cadera. But I mean, come on, if they start to explain more difficult things, it's so much more hard. And I had to constantly annoy them. And to a point, it was quite funny. They were like, okay, you're only allowed one question. You have only one question left for this week. I found it funny. I mean, I don't get bothered. I also understand that I'm in Spain, so I should respect their language. So I was constantly trying to concentrate on movement cues. Where are the hands positioned? How are they positioned? Where do they have elbow contact? Like shadow position, everything. So I have to constantly think about it. And the most problematic class was the advanced, because they were like, it was like going to the school. So where they were talking a lot, they were talking about concepts, for example, breathing, or we took an hour to only analyze things that you can do wrong while dancing in a couple. For example, wrong leading, weight distribution, if you do not prepare your movements, which for me, I love these details. I have a friend of mine which is telling me that people that care about these things are freaks. So I guess I'm one of these freaks. The negative was that I could kind of understand what they were talking about. Nevertheless, I would still go back again. And actually, I'm planning to go back there around February or March, probably March. And then the next one block of hours was on Thursday, was 3.5 hours, was again, it was starting with intermediate, then beginner, then advanced. So the intermediate was Cork and Judith. We were primarily doing combinations. To me, this was, I would say, the least favorite class, because the students at this class were, to me, very beginners. The next one was the beginners course with Cork and Rebecca. This is what I said before. So Corky and Rebecca were giving the class, not Corky and Judith, which I loved actually. We were talking again about breathing, small movements. Okay, when I want that the follower does a hip, how's it called, like a hip roll, this circular motion, where should I put my hands? The beginner's course was quite good. I enjoyed it, and I would recommend it again to people that also know how to dance, because there were actually really high class dancers in there, even teachers that were taking this class. And then the next one was the advanced one. To me, this was one of the most crazy and complex courses that I did actually ever take part of. And why it was that? Well, their movements from Corky and Judith are very unusual to me. So I will never forget, like, the first course. Even Corky was saying there are people in here that actually do not belong here, which was like, for me, oh my god. It's like what we're doing is difficult, and I understand only maybe 10% from what they're saying. Over exaggerating, like 5% from what they're saying I could understand. And then I had this kind of pressure, but to me this was a positive kind of pressure, because, man, I would even say it felt like a little bit of a competition. And I used to be very used to competition because I used to play a lot of football when I was young. Now I'm old and wiser, or at least wiser. But I was used to having this competition feeling every weekend. Now I don't have this, unfortunately, anymore. So at this moment, for me, I felt so alive that I was like, okay, game on. Let's try to kind of survive this class. And at some point, even Corgi came to me and he was like this. I was like, this feels great. And I wouldn't say by any means that I was like in the the best dancers in the class. I mean, that's the nice part, where you go in a class and there are so many better dancers than you that kind of motivate you to be even more focused and inspire you to be also to the upcoming classes. So that was my experience with the PS Dance Center. And yeah, other classes that I actually did take, other regular classes, actually went to two other schools before this, because the school was closed, as I mentioned, in Badalona, which is quite far away, especially if you take the metro. I needed around an hour. But I had the positive thing was that I knew the teacher, Aitor Baredo, that was giving classes to these two different schools. So it was great. He was actually picking me up from the train station and we were going together to the classes. By the way, he's also the person that recommended me to go to the BS Dance Center. So I went to the ACM City, which is in Badalona, on two occasions. And the first one was for our, let's just say, regular classes, which I enjoyed. But I mean, the class and the class complexity depends also on their students. So if the students are not high level, then the class will be easier. So to me, I didn't see a lot of sense to go again and again and again, despite that I really enjoy Aitor as a dance teacher. I actually took a lot of privates from him and I will continue taking privates from him. So yeah, that was one occasion that I went, and then another one was a workshop that Aitor was giving. It was more of a men's class, men's styling class, which was very complex. And this I loved. We actually even had a videographer in the end, and we had like the possibility to dance only three people or solo or two people, and this I loved. And in the case that this will happen again, I will go again. And also, if you have the chance to go and visit such a workshop, go and do that. Like, it was totally worth it. Now, the other dance school in Badalona was the Manicero one. It's not called Manicero one, it's called Manicero Dance School. And I would say that the level of the students there was a little bit better than the ACM City one. And I would actually go there again, but then the BS Dance Center opened. So for me, logistically, it didn't make any sense because there were classes on the same days that I were going to the BS Dance Center. So, and it was also much farther away from me. So yeah, the Manisero one was really good. And then other regular classes that I did take, I actually went to Masa's classes. Masa is a Japanese guy that came from Japan to Barcelona, and he has a Zuki style, which I really appreciate. It's not my thing, but I appreciate that he tried to do something a little bit different. And I'll come to this later. And his class was, I would say, the most internationally attended one because it was the only person that was giving classes in English. So I could understand what he was saying. But I only went to two classes of him because, again, other I was attending other classes. And then the last thing is that usually when you go to parties on the weekend, they offer workshops also from international artists, and keep an eye on this because usually when you pay for the entry fee, it also includes the workshop, which is crazy to me. It's super cheap. I actually attended a workshop from Melvin and Gatica for 10 euros, including a party and two drinks. For example, their style is more of my thing because they bring a lot of hip hop in their movements, and I really love what they're doing. Unfortunately, it was only 1 hour, and first of all, you have to understand their movements. I would love to go to regular classes of theirs, but it's not possible. So yeah, I would say if you want to go there, just be mindful of the language barrier. If you want to go to the BS Dance Center, BS Dance, yeah, BS Dance Center, be aware of the registration. It will take time, and if they're full booked and they don't have any slots, you won't be able to join the class. And also be mindful that if you go to dance there, like a lot of the dancers look similar because they have high level teachers teaching. The dancers there have a lot of technique, but they don't have flavor. They're missing spice. So if you're looking for something like this, you will not find it there, but you will learn a lot about technique. So this was also something that I did find out there, and this is actually what I'm trying to do for me, to first of all learn a lot about technique, but also bring a little bit of the hip hop flavor in there, because this is my style, the way I like to move, and this is what to me is more visually pleasing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this topic, you can write this in the comments below, or you can contact me on Instagram. I'll also leave a link in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one or in the dance floor.